Your character has to be challenged. Some parts of you have to be developed. Sometimes you're wondering why you're not being propelled into the next season of your life. Why is it that you're not flourishing? Why is it that it feels like you're stuck and you're stagnant and you're not moving? And it's because you haven't allowed God to refine parts of you. You haven't allowed God to train you and to develop the parts that He doesn't want anybody to see it. What's good, everybody? It's your girl AmandaSpeaks, and I'm coming back to you with another video. What's good, Mandy Squad? So first of all, if you're new to my channel, if you haven't heard about AmandaSpeaks, you haven't heard about Mandy Squad, I know where you've been at, I know what's going on, but we're so happy that you made it here. You're here right now with us. And if you want to be a part of this amazing family, all you gotta do is hit that subscribe button right there. Hit the bell button beside it so you won't miss any further videos. And without further ado, let's hop into this video. Alrighty, so disclaimer, I will be looking down from time to time, so if you see my eyes here, it's because I'm also reading my book and I'm trying to get all the points that I wrote down for y'all so y'all can get the real juice of the video. So today what we're going to be talking about, the topic is, are you ready for the breaking? So on an episode of watching the Dear Future Wifey, which I will link the video in the description, so if you want to go and watch it, I was watching the episode of Heal Brother Heal Part 2 with Jay Barnett. I will link both Part 1 and Part 2 in the description so you guys can check it out if you want to watch it. Jay Barnett said something that I literally had to write it down. It was so profound, and it said, breaking develops parts of your character that need refining. Your character has to be assassinated before you're elevated. And I know I've spoken on this topic before. I said to you guys that if we're not careful and if we don't go through the proper stages and preparation that God has for us, when He decides to bless us or send us into where He actually wanted us to be, we can look at our blessing as a curse because we didn't allow ourselves to be refined by God. So when he said this, it's like, an aha moment kind of just happened, because what are the areas in our lives that we're not allowing God to refine? What are the areas in our lives that we're not allowing God to build, allowing God to literally strip it from us? A lot of times we just want to be in control of our lives. We want to have everything under our grasp, in our hands, and we don't allow God to do His work. But the truth is, if your character, and it doesn't necessarily mean assassinated, but in his case, it was really assassinated because his name was slandered. Anywho, sometimes it's not entirely assassinated where somebody is slandering your name through social media or, through your family, through your friend group. Not necessarily that, but your character has to be challenged. Some parts of you have to be developed. Sometimes you're wondering why you're not being propelled into the next season of your life. Why is it that you're not flourishing? Why is it that it feels like you're stuck and you're stagnant and you're not moving? And it's because you haven't allowed God to refine parts of you. You haven't allowed God to train you and to develop the parts that He doesn't want anybody to see it. We talk about God being the potter and us being the clay. God has to mold certain parts of us, and sometimes that requires us to take a back seat. Sometimes it requires us to stride instead of strive. Sometimes it requires us to just sit down and let God deal with us. Sometimes it takes a whole season of drapings and wilderness for us to really and truly be refined, for us to be the person that God needs us to be so He can send us into the next season. Because the truth is, God ain't stupid. And if you're not at the level where He knows you need to be, you still won't go to the place He needs you to be or He wants you to be. Sometimes we delay and prolong our training season. We are so disobedient, we are so unwilling to listen, unwilling to learn, because some things take unlearning, and we don't want to hear that. Because we want to think that whatever we know, that's it, that's facts. We don't need to relearn anything. The truth is, as time changes, we have to unlearn certain things because certain things are not the truth. Certain things were theories, and we talk about this even in like science and psychology and those stuff. A theory can have partial truth to it, but that does not mean that the whole theory is right. So there are certain things that, yes, there was some truth to it, but it's not applicable right now. Or there's some truth to it, but there are certain things that needs to be stripped away from it. Hope I'm making sense to y'all. So that was really profound for me, because God really needs to refine some of us. We talk about refine, purify. I wanna be consumed, I wanna be tried by fire. Purified, you take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Oh god, that song is so nice. Woo. Anywho, do we even know what a refiner is? Do we even know what it means to even be purified in the flames? It never said we wouldn't go through the fire. It said we won't get burned. We'll feel the heat, we'll sweat. You know, we're feeling the effects of it, but we're not being consumed. That's the important part, and that's why God will put us in certain situations, put us around certain people. So yeah, we feel hurt. Yeah, we feel attacked. Yeah, we feel inferior for a bit, because we realize what we thought we knew really didn't know. God will allow us to be around certain things, certain people, in certain places, so that we can be refined, so that we can be smoothened out, so that our rough edges can smooth out. But are we willing to allow him to refine us? Now, in the breaking season, I had a few points here where in the breaking season, you'll have to learn to stop pleasing people. And a lot of us struggle with this. I know I've struggled with it. We have to learn to stop pleasing people and realize that the one true person that we're trying to please is God. That's just it. That's just it. You know, people pleasing can cause so much pain for us. It can cause us to stop doing the work God has actually called us to do. It can try to make us feel as though we need to twist certain things and we need to say it a certain way in order for this type of person to accept us. God has created us in such a specific way that however we are, that is exactly how we are supposed to be. When he does the refining, when he does the work and stuff, we only come out better, you know? So in the breaking season, we learn to stop pleasing people. We learn that people cannot save us, one, and the truth is, if people were supposed to be the ones that put us somewhere, if people are the ones that opened the door for us, if people are the ones that provided the opportunity for us, then people can easily take it away. But if God is the one that provided the opportunity, yes, they're people, but he's still the one that created the opportunity. If God is the one that placed us somewhere, no man can take that from you. It no matter how hard them try. Once God has given you that, make a man try. They probably end up injured trying to do it. Okay, so that was one point that I had. People, you have to stop people pleasing, and God will literally start to reveal things about yourself, where he will tell you that you are pleasing this person. You're trying to be like this person. You're comparing yourself to that person. He'll literally, if you ask God certain things, I'm telling you, he will just start to show it to you, start to strip it down and make it simple and plain to you. He'll give you scenarios that you literally bend to your will to try and please this person, instead of giving it to God, instead of trying to love yourself, instead of trying to do things because you wanted to do it. We people please to satisfy other people's needs because we feel that their needs are more important than ours. Especially when it seems as though they know more than what we know. They're more equipped for it. And technically we self-sabotage and we destroy our own self-esteem trying to please people. The other thing I had here was active obedience. In the breaking season, what happens is that God is working on your obedience. He's working on you listening to him. Literally when you feel like your back is against the wall in the middle of the night. Yeah, when our back is against the wall, there's nobody to call. There's nobody that you feel like you can talk to, or it just feels hella lonely. Or you're getting these multitude of instructions from God, whether it's to talk to this person, start this thing, go on this diet, do a fast. God is literally working on your obedience to him, because in the next season, you're going to need to be able to rely on your obedience, rely on God's voice in order to do things successfully and sufficiently and effectively. Because we can't always rely on our own understanding. Scripture talks about it. Lean not to your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge God, and He will direct your path. If we lean on our understanding, our path will seem skewed. If we lean on our understanding, the path that we want to take is the path that we feel is right, not the path that God necessarily has for us to go down. What we may feel is the right thing to do at the time is because it might feel comfortable. It might seem like it's a good thing, and it might seem as though, yeah man, this looks like God right here because it's a good opportunity, it's a good job, it's a good friendship, it's a good writing strategy, it's a good public speaking event. And God's like over there like, are you gonna let me speak? Are you gonna listen? So in the breaking season, what tends to happen is that God literally works on our obedience, because we're going to need it for the next season. We're going to need to know that we have heard Him so clearly and we trust Him so much. He said in His word that His sheep know His voice, and a stranger they will not listen to. We have to be able to rely on this season, the breaking season, to know that, all right, in the next season, even if I hear a voice, it sounds too strange, that's not God, that's not of God, even if the opportunity looks right, even if the person seems perfect, even if the friendship seems like it's growing now, even if the business seems like it's booming now, and this is a great opportunity to expand. Remember that God sees the far future. He sees what's around the corner. We're only seeing straight ahead. So He works on our obedience. The next thing is that He works on your vision / His vision. Because sometimes our vision is not His vision. But He works on vision. And if you don't have a vision, yeah, perish. A vision helps you to have, it kind of gives you notes. Yeah, notes on where you're supposed to go, when you're supposed to do it, where you are right now, what do you need to improve. The vision will seem as if it is beyond you right now. It is beyond what you are capable of right now, especially when God gives you the vision and you're seeing what's happening right now. You're like, how? But He works on your vision because He needs you to see clearly. He needs you to see clearly. He needs to know that you're trusting Him that much that He can deposit into you some vision, some idea, some innovation, some thoughts, and He knows that He can trust you with it because you're seeing, you're clear. He knows that if you ask Him for clarity, all right, let's go. You're ready to move when He's ready to move because you have the same vision. And He needs to let you know that sometimes what we plan and what we want to do, like that 5-year plan, that 3-year plan, that plan right there, so that seem like, all right, must sit. In the breaking season, He will literally be like, that's not it. And you have to change your whole plan because that's not God's plan. And you gotta ask yourself at that point, which one's more important, my plan or God's plan? Is my definition of a successful life God's definition of a successful life? I remember saying to my mother, I'd want to see a glimpse of what my best day, my best life looks like in God's eyes. Come on, somebody. And this kind of ties into what I was saying before. You need to break to come to the end of yourself. Allow the scales to be removed. And that comes with clarity. You have to have clarity. If you don't have clarity, it's a go rough because you're not going to know which way to turn. You're not going to know, am I supposed to even be trusting this? Am I supposed to even be going this way? It's like we just listen to everybody and we don't know who to listen to. We don't know who is right. We don't know if the person is saying the right thing. And that is sometimes our issue. We don't allow God to give us the clarity that we need. We don't allow God to, break us, allow us to come to the end of ourselves because we're not sense. And we can't lean on our understanding all the time because it will fail us. I was looking this way, by the way, because I had a scripture down here that says, and it's from 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9, and I'm reading from the Amplified version, and it says, "But he has said to me, my grace is sufficient for you. My loving kindness and my mercy are more than enough, always available, regardless of the situation. For my power is being perfected and is completed and shows itself most effectively in your weakness. Therefore, I will all the more gladly boast in my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may completely enfold me and may dwell in me." And I will read verse 10. So I am well pleased with weaknesses, with insults, with distresses, with persecutions, and with difficulties, for the sake of Christ. For when I am weak in human strength, then I am strong, truly able, truly powerful, truly drawing from God's strength. And I say that because breaking brings revelation. No, not every revelation is meant to be shared. Some things you have to let it play out. Some things you have to keep to yourself and pray about it. You know, not every revelation, and you also have to seek God for that, because you need to know which revelation to share and which revelation to shut up and keep yourself. But when you've come to the end of yourself, you're truly living in God. Hopefully that makes sense. When you've come to the end of yourself, you realize that I'm finite. Me. That's why it says in the Bible that my righteousness is like filthy rags before God, because me is not enough. I'm finite, I'm limited. God is not limited. And when I'm in my weakness, when I feel as though I cannot make it anymore, I cannot do this anymore, I'm truly living on God's strength at that time. And God's strength is the best strength at this point. Like, because even here it said, he said that his grace is sufficient. He said that God's power is being perfected in his weakness. And I'm sure we all have an experience like this. When we're at our lowest, our prayers have the most direction. When we're at our lowest, we pray the more sincerely to God. When we're at our lowest, it's as if we just want to at the feet of Jesus and we need God to touch you right now. It's as if we're like, God, I'm at the end of the rope and I'm about to die and I need you to step in. We all have that valley experience where if I name for God, we need to make it. If I name for God, we need a there. It don't matter what long time. My testimony right there, what's up? You know, but we have to come to the end of ourselves so that God can have his way in us. God can truly show us his full strength, show us his power. And sometimes it is us getting to the end of ourselves that he can show us another characteristic of himself, that he can show us another part of himself that we never knew before. Sometimes this is when we are broken. God, in his word, says that he is close to the brokenhearted and a contrite spirit. And not turn them away neither. And sometimes it takes us breaking, coming to the end of ourselves for us to see God clearly, for us to see him. Because all along we thought that we had it figured out. All along we thought that, you know, we got this down, you know, I can do this, da-da-da-da-da. And we start get arrogant. We start feel like say, oh, we are doing it. And it is when we are broken, when we literally have come to the end of ourselves. Come to the reality that I can't do this. I tried, but I can't. And that is when God is glorified. That is when he can step in and say, hello, how you doing? I've been wanting to talk to you. Hey, you know. And again, breaking brings revelation. So when you break, when you allow God to really start talking to you and really start ministering to you in your brokenness, he reveals a lot of things to you. Literally. He'll tell you what is bothering you from what pick you'll fill up. He'll tell you why you're acting like this. He'll tell you why your vision didn't work, why your plan didn't work. He will reveal so many things to you about yourself and about your future. Sometimes people get the most powerful words in the most broken season they've ever been in. They will get the plan and the word for their future, for where they're supposed to be, what they're supposed to be doing, where they're going, when they're broken. When it looks like we're nothing and nothing not possible. That is when sometimes we get word. So a lot of us want new beginnings. A lot of us want a fresh start, but we're not allowing ourselves to be broken by God. We're not allowing God to break us. Not man. Because the difference, when man broke we, when man broke we, they left we. They didn't leave us to fend for ourselves and put by the pieces together. And a lot of times, sometimes we take away some pieces and sometimes we misplace certain pieces. So, and that can be by accident or by choice. Let's talk about the disregarding some pieces. Sometimes we disregard some pieces because we're saying we don't want to end up like that again. We don't want to feel that type of hurt again. We don't want to go through that bad experience again. We don't want to feel the emotion that we felt before. We don't want to feel that rejection anymore. We don't want to feel that orphan mentality anymore. We don't want to feel like a victim anymore. We don't want to feel as though we're less than. And sometimes we overcompensate for that, but we still have not dealt with the real issue. That's another topic. However, that's disregarding the pieces. Because you're saying to yourself, I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to feel that anymore. I don't want to go through that. So I'm not going to put myself in a position. I'm not going to allow those feelings to come back. And I have a video, or I'll link it at the top, where it says, what are your walls doing? Because a lot of times what this looks like when we're broken by man, what this looks like is us putting up walls and calling them standards, and they're not really standards, they're barriers, so people cannot get in, but at the same time we're dying on the inside. So we're low-key building a prison for ourselves, and we think it is just a wall to bar out the toxic people, when we are literally living in our own toxicity because we decided that I don't want to feel that anymore. Bam, that's what it looks like. However, by accident, the one by accident refers to when we allow different people to put us back together, and then what they do is that they put us how they think we should be, not how we actually are, or they try to put us together to look like them. And I say by accident because sometimes we think that because the people are close to us, our best friends or family members, because they're close to us and they've been around us for a long time, they can fix us. Nobody can fix nobody. God truly fixes people, to be honest. What we do is encourage and help with the fixing process. But that's another point that I have that I'll jump into. But the choice versus accident, the accident is really us just allowing different people to come in and try to do what God is really supposed to do. God is the only person that can fix certain things. He's the only one that can fill the holes, fill the void that other people can't. But no, if God is the one that breaks you, just as what Tasha Cobb said, he breaks you gracefully. And he doesn't leave you when you're being broken. He's there when the breaking starts. He's there when you start to little crack them, like broke it, you just see like a little scratch. He's there, he's seeing it happen, and it's okay. He's trying to comfort you at the same time, be like, it's okay. Like, I see it happening. He is there through the turmoil when you literally start hear the crack and it literally on the verge of breaking. He's there through the turmoil of the cracks. And he's there through the wounds that are caused by the shards that have been broken and cut you. He's there. He's there when it starts to hurt, and he's there to comfort you. He's there to say, I'm here to stitch you back up. I am the great physician. I'm coming. I'm there. I'm here for you. Lean into me. Lean on me. I can manage the weight. So he's there. He doesn't leave you. He takes his time with you as well. Don't let anybody rush you in your healing process. Let me just put that out there. Don't let anybody rush you in your healing process, because nobody has truly gone through the extent of what you've gone through. They've not. Don't let anybody rush you or tell you that you should be healed by now. If you're not being healed by the right person, you're still not healed. Like, I don't know if people don't understand. If you're not being healed the right way, you're still not healed. All you're doing is probably numbing or repressing an event, a memory, a trauma. You're not being healed if you're not being healed the correct way, because there's still some things that are bothering you. There's still some things that are there, and you're not being healed wholly. Is that a word? You're not being healed to be whole. You're being healed haphazardly, or you're just having half of you healed but not all of you healed. And God wants to heal the whole man. He takes his time while letting you know that he's there, literally. So as I was mentioning, the wound, it starts to burn. It's hurting you. And he's there putting on the peroxide that we hate so much because it sizzles and it burns, and yet the cut hurts you, and he's putting on the peroxide and says, okay, it's alright, and my talk to you, and he's comforting you, and he's saying, it's okay, I hear you, I know it hurts, I feel the pain just myself, because listen, what grieves us grieves God, and the pain that we feel, God feel it too. Don't think he don't know. Don't think he don't know. Sometimes we look at comfort to mean that everything is fixed. We look at, everything is healed, everything is Gucci. Comfort is, we look at comfort to be, all right, everything is good, I'm healed completely, I'm flourishing, and everything is good. Sometimes the comfort can be, I get a good night's sleep. Sometimes the comfort can be, all right, I had something good to eat this morning. The comfort can be, all right, somebody sent me a video that meant so much to me, that literally just played out, my life. Sometimes comfort can mean I got a good cry. Comfort can mean I talked to the right person, pouring out my heart. Comfort can mean I'm being discipled, I'm being mentored by somebody. That's comfort just the same. Comfort doesn't mean that everything is fixed. It doesn't mean that the pain doesn't hurt sometimes still. But it means that there are just some things, some small things that help me to know that God is still here and he's still comforting me. He's still doing his work. Because healing is not like that. And you can still be in a healing process 2 years from now, but you're still not at the broken stage that you were 2 years before. Make sense? You're not the person you used to be, but you're not yet all the way there. That's what I mean. And I have here that not everyone will understand. I'm just going to read it and then I'll look up. Not everyone will understand your breaking, but there will be those who hear and don't simply watch, but save and help to patch you up. Their ears will be opened by God and their eyes will be opened. What do I mean by that? Just as how God is there when the cracking starts and you can literally hear when it starts to break. Like when I start breaking and literally start hearing the cracks. There will be some people that see that you're breaking. There will be some person that see that you're deteriorating, that you're not the same person, something seems up. Like, what's going on? But some of them will just sit down there and watch. But there will be those where their ears will be divinely open, their eyes will be divinely open. And while you may not always see them, or they might not always be there, like literally hugging you, they'll be praying for you. They'll be trying to figure stuff out for you, figure ways to help you. Whether it is that all right, let's find a therapist for her. Because people, this is another way. God works in mysterious ways. It's not always just about sitting in your room and that for hours. That can work for somebody, cool. Other persons, it might be therapy. There's nothing wrong with therapy. Other persons, it might be starting a whole self-care journey. Other persons, it might be, I need to go join a group. Different ways, different strokes for different folks, as my mom would say. But there will be people who will literally submit themselves to God to help you. There will be people. God never leaves people alone, literally. But then, he doesn't leave people alone. Community matters. But don't be annoyed by them. Don't be upset. But try to welcome it. Remember, God does use people to do his work. Because sometimes when we're broken, we don't want people to know. Sometimes when we're going through our worst days and we're feeling so devastated, we prefer to know that we're suffering in silence, but yet we still want people to help you. It's such a weird combination. Like, there's something in our hearts that really want the help and is crying out for help, but our ego is saying, no, you don't want your business there, road, you don't want nobody knows you have struggle, Yeah, it's like those two will keep fighting. But don't be annoyed by the people that come around to help you because you know that you need it. Don't fight it. This is the last point. Breaking occurs when pressure or weight is applied. Not every weight is a breaking point. Some are pressure points. And when I heard that, like, it's not in this exact statement, but I was listening to a message and I heard the two. I'm like, oops, wait. That means there's a difference. Because we have pressure points. And I have here, pressure points can be a nerve cluster or sensitive areas of muscle, tendons, ligaments, blood vessels, and veins. Pressure points can be a nerve. And what I wrote down were triggers and trauma of any kind. What gets on your nerve? What is easy to trigger you? What instantly irritates you? What instantly makes you feel so devastated and exhausted? What is it? Because the thing is, people will try to push our pressure points. The devil tries to push our pressure points, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it is our breaking point. We're not broken by it, we're irritated by it. Know the difference, because sometimes we feel that we're broken and we're not broken, we're just under pressure. Then now the second part where it says sensitive pressure points can be a nerve cluster or sensitive areas. Yeah, we're going to look at sensitive areas in the sense where, what are you insecure about? What is something you don't easily talk about? What is it that can easily get on your nerve and upset you? What is it that you're sensitive towards? What is it that gets you uneasy quite quickly? What conversations do you literally draw away from because you're not comfortable talking about it? Why are you not comfortable talking about it? It is sensitive areas, and those are pressure points. Pressure points, and these are just two that I found to be honest and really stuck out to me. There probably are more. You can research on your own if you want to, but these two just stuck out to me when I was reading the definition of what a pressure point is. And we have to know the difference, because sometimes we feel as though we're breaking and we can't make it, when that is not the case. It's a pressure point that is being poked at, that is being, juked with a stick. But this is not our breaking point, and we have to know the difference, because if it's a pressure point, there's a solution to the pressure. There's something that needs to be done. There's another solution, there's another side to the coin. And even in the pressure, you are literally, God is trying to give you some form of revelation. In the pressure, God is trying to teach you something. But what is it? What is it that we're sensitive towards? What is it that gets on our nerves and triggers us horribly? And then what is it that we need to do when we find out those things? So know the difference between breaking points and pressure points. And the last thing I would say is, are you ready to break? To blossom. Let me say that again. Are you ready to break? To blossom. Because on the flip side of your breaking is where you will blossom. It is where you will grow, and when people see you, you look like a brand new you. So are you ready? Alrighty everybody, that is all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that it spoke something to you. I hope that you got a lot of points from it, because listen, I be out here feeling like there's more points to it too that I don't even know about yet. But I really hope it talked to you. I really hope it ministered to you. I really hope you learned something about it and it encouraged you, especially if you're in a breaking season of yourself. And by breaking season, it can also be a wilderness. If you're in that season, take courage, because if God is the one that's breaking you, you're in good hands. Trust me. So, and don't forget to hit that like button down below. Don't forget to share it with a friend, share it with a fam, because you might not know what you're doing for somebody. You might not know who needs to hear this word. You might not know if somebody's just waiting on this word right now and it will change their life. Because one yes from you, one share from you can change somebody's life. You never know. So guys, without further ado, I will see you next time around. And if you're not following me on my social medias, you can click the link in my description so we can get in contact. You can connect with me, see what's happening in my life. And without further ado, peace.